Welcome to my Watch Chronicles. Today I have a Davosa Argonautic Bg. It's a Swiss-made automatic with a Salida SW200 inside. I don't know how many people have heard of these guys. I didn't even know them until a couple of years ago, and I've been collecting watches for 20 years. But I came across this guy, and I really liked the colors. The contrast of the white and the blue look really good. So I decided just to pick this guy up. One thing I was impressed by was the shipping. Came by FedEx. I think it only took 2 days from Germany. So, yeah, they were quick and on the spot, and I appreciate that. Just a little bit more about this watch. It's one of the more unique watches in their line. They do a lot of Rolex homage watches, similar to something we might see with Steinhardt. They're really well made, but yeah, a lot of homage watches. This one's a little bit more unique. Does kind of have the shape of some Omegas that I've seen with the helium release valve. But other than that, it's just a good, nice looking watch. As you zoom in here, you can just see the hour markers, the minute markers. They're white, but they're surrounded or outlined, I should say, in yellow. One thing I didn't quite understand is the date window. I don't know why it needs to be double outlined, but it is. It makes it very obvious where the date window is at. It doesn't look terrible, but I don't know that I would have chosen to do a double outline. But I really do like those hands. They look really good against that blue. In the second hands, you can see there's yellow. Then it's got that little pip for the Super Luminova. It is a little bit bigger guy. It's a 43 millimeter in width. The thickness is 13.5, and then the log to log is 51.2. It's not the biggest watch ever, but by today's standards, it's a little bit bigger watch. Nothing like the 45 or even 50 millimeters that they had not too long ago that were just flooding the market. And I'm glad that has changed because smaller watches are just so much more comfortable to wear. They just look better on your wrist. One thing you'll notice about the bracelet is that it's 100% brushed. I've had this for a while, so it's got some scratches and stuff on it, but it's not terrible condition. I really do like the ceramic bezel. It just plays with the light really well. I got all the minute markers going around. It's just nice. Let's hear a little bit of the bezel action. Just sounds nice. For anything this price range, it's going to be very, it is a little bit tough to turn, but in my opinion, that's good. You don't want it just easily moving on you, and it's got really no back play at all. I will say that the bezel does have some aggressive knurling on it, if you would. It looks good, but yeah, you definitely notice it when you go to grip it. It's not just your standard fluted bezel that you might see in some of these watches, but it looks aggressive, and I think it looks good. It matches with the watch. And it is 1,000 meter, not 1,000 meter, but 100 meter, 1,000 foot dive watch. Screw down crown. So I'll get this open a little bit. There we go. Change the time on it. As you can tell, those white hands just look really good. That's one of the things that drew me into this watch, were these white hands against the blue background. I mean, as we get a little closer, you can see those minute markers. They're outlined in yellow. But when you're wearing it, it looks more white. But close up in the camera, definitely shows a lot of yellow. Further away or to the naked eye, I would say it's more just white with a little hint of yellow. Let's go back to the case now. It's brushed, as you can see, quite aggressively. It's not the most well-finished watch ever. I mean, it's just 100% brush. It's a tool watch. Your typical tool watch. Got the oyster style bracelet. It's comfortable. One thing I do appreciate, whenever a company puts in screws. I don't know why everyone's not doing them, but they should. Just makes it way easier to size. I think for me, the biggest knock on this watch is this clasp. It's not terrible. There's nothing wrong with it, actually. It does the job. See if we can get this open. But it's your standard milled fold-over clasp. Just kind of what your typical micro brand is using these days. But for the price range these are in, kind of would like to see a little bit better clasp. Zelos and Christopher Ward, they're two companies that are doing them right. They got those push button deployment clasps on their dive watches, and they're excellent. And this is in between those two watches in price. And in my opinion, that's one thing they need to change. This I picked up for around $800 or so. I think the newer version today is going for close to $900. But for that price, I don't know. I want to see a better clasp. With that being said, though, it's just a really good looking watch. I've enjoyed owning it. I like pretty much everything about it. The size is, like I said, it's a little big, even for me some days, but it's nice. So you can get a bit of a wrist shot and see how it looks on my 7 1/4 inch wrist. And get over my gloves. And I think it looks really good. That's what it's going to look on your wrist if you have a 7 1/4 inch wrist. If your wrist is smaller or bigger, of course, it's going to wear differently. But I think it is a very good looking watch. Just those hands, the contrast is it's really easy to read. I have not had any problems with the movement. I believe this has been running at about plus or minus 8 or 9 seconds a day. So it's not cost certified range, but it's not bad either. Anyone who's looked into Davosa, I would recommend them. Just know what you're getting into. They're not perfect. They do have a lot of homage watches. Rolex ones are well made, but they do have some other ones that are a little bit more unique that aren't copycats or anything. And I think that's it.